Hi, Dan Stephen Erickson here, Songwriter. Um, I just can't sit here and watch what's going on in regard to free speech. I'm a writer. I'm a songwriter, right? I'm not a fan of most late night shows. I haven't watched them since Letterman, right? I go to bed early. But that's not the point. So you've all heard Jimmy Kimmel thing, right? He was suspended for saying something relatively innocuous, right? Or relatively small. It's not a, he basically said that the MAGA is holding on to this Charlie Kirk thing and making a big deal out of it, right? And using it for their own gain. That's basically what he said. He was not celebrating Charlie Kirk's murder. He wasn't, degrading Kirk himself, which is, what everything is supposed to be horrible, right? So he basically just said, it looks like the right is using it to their advantage. And you can't deny that. You just can't. They are using it to their advantage. So, the FCC chair, Carr, whatever his name is, made a threat on a podcast, and then ABC backed down and suspended Kimmel, right? See, this is the beginning of government censorship. Complete control of our media and the messages they deliver from a president who has shown his true colors to be authoritarian, right? I'm not going to call him a fascist, although there are a lot of points you could make about that. I'm just going to call him authoritarian, dictator-like, right? You water down the messages that people are receiving, the education they're getting, and you get a brainwashed country who will basically follow whatever they're told. And that's kind of where it feels like we could be heading if we don't do something, right? And so the Democrats, they're creating a new bill. They shouldn't have to create a new bill. This is obvious, right? Now, it's not against it doesn't break the First Amendment for the private company to fire one of their late night hosts, right? That's within that private company's own decision making. However, to use for the president to use political power to get that done, that's questionable. Right? It's very questionable. We could go back. I mean, this is reminding me of things like the McCarthy era, right? Where anybody who even had mentioned the word communism was targeted, right, in the entertainment business. Also reminds me clear back going into England, the Star Chamber Court, where any publisher had to get permission from the government. And if the government didn't like anything they said, then it didn't get published. Now, I'm not just a songwriter, right? Some of my songs would probably get me fired, right? But I'm not just a songwriter. I was educated in communication, right? I'm a huge First Amendment guy, right? I think it is the very crux of our whole democracy. So if you take that away, we're going down. And speaking of Charlie Kirk, I heard Charlie Kirk saying Christianity is the crux of our democracy. No, it is not. This nation could survive without Christianity, it could survive without religion, but it cannot survive without freedom of speech. It cannot. It won't. It will fall into a regime, will become an authoritarian country. That's where it looks like we're heading if something doesn't change soon. Look at everything the right has done in the last 10 months. It all seems very calculated to change our whole governmental structure, everything that we've known. I've never seen anything like this in my lifetime. I don't know if there's anything that comes close, at least in America. So yeah, I'm concerned about this as a songwriter, as a communication educator. It's a problem. It's a problem when we start, firing people over things they say, right? So a whole bunch of people have been fired for things they have said about Charlie Kirk's death. I mean, yeah, once in a while maybe you can take it too far, but a lot of those people haven't taken it too far. One of them was just from the Washington Post. She just quoted him. Seriously. You get fired for quoting another person? I don't know what we're coming to here, but something's got to change, or it's not looking good for any of us. Anyway, I just had to say this. I'm a huge proponent of the First Amendment and freedom of speech, and it kind of looks like we're losing it. Dan Stephen Erickson here, songwriter. I'll be back next time with another song.